District Attorney Sandra Doorley, employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Sheriff Todd Baxter, employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Paul C. Metzger, James Valley Jr., in Penfield Town Court, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutor's not talked in court. What are the names of my prosecutors? Perry Douglas and Mark Monahan in the District Attorney's Office, and you refuse to tell me their names because you're corrupt. This is the Freedom of Information Law here, dated this June 2nd. There are 17 in here. When I get to the lunatic fringe, you Benito Mussolini skinhead, Todd Baxter, employees of the Sheriff's Office, this is right here. That's the lunatic fringe. The lunatic fringe is also called a surveillance device. And I hate to use that word. I have to use that word because of your then $67,000 cop freak, Shannon Meyer, who you gave a $16,000 raise to, Todd Baxter. That's a surveillance device. The great Mike Pompeo, once at the Central Intelligence Agency, will tell you this is a surveillance device. So Todd Baxter, you disgusting, sickening fraud and stooge, did you buy this with taxpayer dollars? Or is this private technology that already existed on this building? Elliot Roth, who works at this building, knows the answer. You tell me the answer, you Benito Mussolini skinhead. I believe if someone from the Department of Justice, either at the United States Attorney for the Western District, New York's Office of Trinity Ross, or at the Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., asked you what the answer is, you would still refuse to reply because you're corrupt. That's why. So Todd Baxter, again, is this private technology 2025 Penfield Road for a business called Consumer Insights where Elliot Roth's the president? Or did you buy it and fix it for me? And Elliot, open your mail, register mail return receipt that I'm going to send to you, and you tell me the answer. Because I've been on this fucking contraption. Because the public defender's office sent me the links. And when I was calling it a surveillance device initially, after the first time I saw myself on here, you psychopaths at the sheriff's office are calling Lindsey Barrett at the Monroe County Office of Mental Health to come to my residence where I used to live at 26 Sanders from driving Penfield. And she chased me down to a road called Willow Pond Way, which goes to Wegmans. So I am running down Willow Pond Way to Wegmans. I have Lindsey Barrett at the Monroe County Office of Mental Health screaming at me outside the sheriff's office vehicle because I used the term surveillance device that I've been on over and over and over, that the public defender sent me the links to. So Todd Baxter, again, is this private technology at 2025 Penfield Road for a business called Consumer Insights where Elliot Roth's the president? Or did you buy it and fix it for me with tax dollars? So, also a lunatic fringe of you. The employees underwear in a pool. I'm going to show this first before I read the foil over and over. This is where I used to live at a loft in Rochester next to the transit center. Over and over, 50 plus times the demand to disclose the names of our prosecutors. Every single one of these documents is a foil. Freedom of Information Law. Refusing to disclose the names every time. Come to my residence, demand my dog. Talk to Lollipop Farm Humane Society about that. I'm going to talk to Lollipop again about that. The employees are at Wegmans. Again, this is Wegmans at 2157 Penfield Road. What are you employees doing at Wegmans? Every single day they're there, where they're refusing to do their jobs. No reason for them ever to be at Wegmans or Target or anywhere in this area right here. I'm confused why you're corrupt. I'm also going to read how Andrew Reale charges me with harassment second. I'm sitting in the backseat of his vehicle, Todd Baxter. This is the Freedom of Information Law. There's 17 on here. Tell me the names of my prosecutors, Perry Douglas and Mark Monahan. Freedom of Information Law. Information about the grand jury convened by District Attorney Sandra Doorley to target Christopher Chichester. That is 1, the month, day, and year the grand jury is convened. 2, the assigned District Attorney's Office employee that addressed the grand jury. 3, the witnesses that testified to the grand jury. 4, the vote of the grand jurors. 5, a transcript of grand jury proceeding. Michelle Crowley, it's in the District Attorney's Office. You know why? It's in the District Attorney's Office because here are the receipts right here. I have multiple receipts. Michelle Crowley, why didn't you call me to the District Attorney's Office? You should be disbarred, which I'll pursue you disbarment. I have enough, I believe, where you can be at least disciplined. I don't know if you'll be disbarred. I hesitate to make predictions, even when I know someone's a psychopath like you, Michelle Crowley. So why you're a psychopath? The grand jury's convened in these 18 to 24 anonymous cities. How did you pick them? And why did you call me? You could have stood right in front of me, Michelle Crowley, or anybody from that revolting shack at 47 South Fitzhugh. You could have asked me whatever you wanted. I would have answered every single question right in front of the grand jury where Michael Houlihan perjured himself. And what am I talking about? I'm being stalked by $73,000 Michael Houlihan and $85,000 Don Benedetto. They hide on the private property of my neighbor. They chased me up on my back porch. And Michael Houlihan said I swung a hammer at him on my back porch. That's a lie. When Michael Houlihan states in that grand jury, Michelle Crowley, and employees of the sheriff's office, I swung a hammer at him, he perjures himself. I've been on YouTube about him repeatedly, including putting his name on YouTube where I called him a perjurer. So tell me what the answers are about that grand jury. Do you understand me? Understand what I'm telling you to do? So I'm violently attacked the Pemberton Public Library. This again why you're psychopaths at that sheriff's office. Violence is raining down on me. I'm being violently attacked repeatedly at the jail, at the pharmacy on Wegmans. Richard J. Seaman watched my front door, 2600 Farm Drive in Pemberton. Richard J. Seaman and his psychopath partner are waiting for me to leave. I walked down Pemberton Road. I walked the bad road. I walked to the Pemberton Public Library. The whole time, Richard J. Seaman, this $75,000 disgusting cretin, is watching me because he's going to deliver me the $28,000 bald-headed Penville Town Court Judge Paul C. Metzer when the district attorney's office is not notified. After Seaman does what he does to me, Paul C. Metzer is waiting in Pemberton Town Court. The district attorney's office is not there to make an argument I committed a crime. The public defender's office is there because they were called and told to be there. I don't know. I'm supposed to be in Pemberton Town Court, but the public defender's office, Julie Siaka, knows I'm supposed to be there. Why did the public defender's office call me and tell me that this was going to happen to me, that I have a court appearance, and Paul C. Metzer was trying to compel me into court? Why don't you pick up the phone and call me, Julie Siaka, Mark Phillips, Regina Harper? So Richard J. Seaman stalks me into the public library. I have $61.39. Seaman runs at me, slams his arm to the side of my head. I fell backwards. The force of Seaman's arm hitting me in the head. My head hit ceramic tile. Floors a violent attack upon me. I was reissued this check when I got out of Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. Send me that money, you Benito Mussolini skinhead. 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, 14604. It's on the foil here. Freedom of information law. Issuance of a new check to Christopher Chichester, address below for an expired check in the amount of $61.39 from the County of Monroe Office of Sheriff may fund the culprit because that's the dollar amount in the pocket of Chichester when he was violently attacked at Pemberton Public Library, $75,094 Richard J. Seaman in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. It does not matter to you, Michael Radler, Kathleen Miller, Scott O'Berty, and $101,000 William Tadeo, that this is a psychopath cop that violently attacked me. If it was anybody in your family, any friend or any family member, you'd have the same level of anger that I have. Sworn officers along with a badge and weapon repeatedly violently attacked me, including this psychopath who I saw when you arrested me for double jeopardy in Pemberton Road. You arrested me for the same fiction and fantasy in the head of Michael C. Houlihan when he said I swung a hammer at him on my back porch, when he lied and when he perjured himself. I have three names. I have three prosecutors. Tell me these names: Mark Monahan and Perry Douglas. Freedom of information law. Documentation for the case for Christopher Chichester for John P. Lenzer, Union Pemberton Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra? Is that Julie Hahn or is that not Julie Hahn? Total silence is unbelievable to jail. Documentation for the case for Christopher Chichester, Paul C. Metzer, Pemberton Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra? It's the 5'2" three-piece suit boy. Total silence is unbelievable to jail before Paul C. Metzer. My last appearance before Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court. Who elevated to Alex Renzi, me at Alex Renzi? Who forced me into Alex Renzi? And then he remanded me to Monroe County Jail. It's the prosecutor signed to Alex Renzi. In my appearance before Alex Renzi, it's $208,000, 70-year-old hack and fossil. You know the name Mark Monahan. You know the name Perry Douglas. Well, you know the names because I think I have multiple prosecutors. What are the names of my prosecutors? Freedom of information on documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester through Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley? You refuse to answer Mark Monahan and Perry Douglas. Your boss, when she looks at that, when I send this to her, this document I just had in my hand, when I make a copy of this, send it to your registered mail, return receipt. Your boss, Sandra Doorley, look at all three of those files, demanding disclosure of my prosecutors, refuse to comply, and that's why she's corrupt. And what is Paul C. Metzer doing with my health care records? My former employers, the United States Senate, United States House of Representatives, passed the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, 25 years ago, to properly protect health care records. My health care records are not properly protected when you, Todd Baxter, you Benito Mussolini skinhead, gave them to $28,000 Paul C. Metzer from Pemberton Town Court. Freedom of information law, copy of the private health care records delivered to $28,000 Pemberton Town Court, just Paul C. Metzer by Sheriff Baxter in violation of the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996. Tell the best possible lie about that one, Todd Baxter. This is the lunatic fringe. Again, the lunatic fringe, the sickness of you disgusting, sickening, party-switching fraud, Todd Baxter. This is because you're Shannon Meyer. Shannon Meyer, you're $83,000 cop freak is why I'm communicating you with the official friend of Brooklyn, New York. What's that called, Todd Baxter? Huh? Say it to me. Say it to my face, you disgusting, sick hack, Todd Baxter. Freedom of information on the cost of the sales, vice purchase of taxpayer house, Monroe County Sheriff Todd J. Baxter, and fixed to a building in 2025 Pemberton Road, the mile to Christopher Chichester, 26 Sandra Farm Drive, walks through the park and exits the building, and that's the lunatic fringe. Lunatic fringe. So, of the sexual harassment at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office, tell me the answer. You refuse to answer because you're corrupt. The cost of taxpayers, Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter spent taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits failed to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Tell me what the answer is. Freedom of information laws. There's sexual harassment at the district attorney's office. Tell me what the answer is. Freedom of information law, cost taxpayers, Monroe County District Attorney Sandra expended taxpayer dollars on employment-related discrimination lawsuits that apply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. You complied with the most important consequential law of the 20th century. I've been demanding that for 18 months. In 18 months, you refused to respond, and that's why you're a menace to society, and that's why you're corrupt. Overtime, time and a half. Tell me how you pay your employees once the 41st hour's work time back for Sandra Doorley. You refuse because you're corrupt. Freedom of information law, total cost of overtime, time and a half. How I paid that on base salaries calculated by Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd K. Baxter. Freedom of information law. How's overtime calculated? You just paid $113,000 Perry Douglas. Well, can you be paid more money than Sandra Doorley, $210,000 with overtime, time and a half? Tell me the answer. Freedom of information law, total cost of overtime, time and a half. Well, paid that on base salaries calculated at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley. You Todd Baxter, you disgusting, sickening, revolting freak, are taking pictures of your employees underwater in a pool. Do you know what I'm talking about, Todd Baxter? I don't think you do. Do you even know what your employees do? Just your employees right here. Is this taxpayer dollars? I don't give a shit if it's a private event. Is this taxpayer dollars? How much money was expended for this? You refuse to answer, Todd Baxter. Freedom of information on the cost for a photography session, photograph 10 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees underwater in the pool. Tell me the answer. What are the salaries of the public defender's office? You, Julie Sianka, the public defender, Mark Phillips, Virginia Sharper. Tell me what you're paid at that little office. Freedom of information on names and salaries of a public employee. The Monroe County Public Defender's Office, Julie Sianka. Tell me what the answer is. Freedom of information law. Names and salaries of everybody at Pemberton Town Court. It's James McMillan Jr. at $34,000, $28,000. Paul C. Menace. What's that old lady paid? Is it just 3 people at Pemberton Town Court where there isn't a jury? What's the answer? Freedom of information law. Names and salaries of every public employee at Pemberton Town Court. 1985 Bad Road, Pemberton, New York. 14526. Freedom of information law. Demand to know the names and salaries of everybody in New York State Supreme Court for Alice Renzi. Freedom of information law. The names and salaries of every public employee in New York State Supreme Court under supervising Judge Alice Renzi, 99 Exchange Boulevard, Rochester, New York. Tell me what the answer is. So Ryan Fisher's going to Atlanta, Georgia, Todd Baxter, and you sent Corey Brown and Michael Fowler to Saratoga. I got the information, $1,000 to send Corey Brown and Michael Fowler to Saratoga. Refusing to answer this about Ryan Fisher. How much was the cost of the hotel and plane ticket for your employee Ryan Fisher to be 1,000+ miles away in Atlanta, Georgia? Cost for a hotel and plane ticket for Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee Ryan Fisher, Lieutenant Super Bowl Atlanta, Georgia, February 3rd, 2019. You got your handguns, you got your rifles, you got an arsenal. What's the contract for the weapons? You decide the contract for the weapons. How much did you pay for those handguns, those long guns, those rifles? Every single weapon should be accounted for. What's the price of the contract? Freedom of information on contract signed by Sheriff Todd Baxter to purchase firearms from Monroe County Sheriff Office employees to include the name of the firearms contract and the number of firearms purchased, the total amount of taxpayer dollars to purchase firearms. So you have everything there. This is the list of defendants in Pemberton Town Court. Is everybody guilty, Paul C. Metzler? I haven't opened that yet. I'll get sick to my stomach if I have to open this. Tell me what the answer is. I'm going to see my name on there, and I'll get sick to my stomach. I don't have my birth certificate because you tied back to my landlord. 80-year-old Anthony on the spot, locked the door and locked me out of my residence where I used to live for 8 years at 26 Sandra Farm Drive. This is the check here to the New York State Department of Health, $30. Anthony on the spot locked me out. Everything is gone. I had to write an application for my birth certificate. I don't have my birth certificate because you, Todd Baxter, you, Sandra Doorley, Paul C. Metzler, James McMillan Jr., Pemberton Town Court. I don't have my original copy of my DD-214. That's gone too because every single thing I own is gone because of you, Todd Baxter, and you, Sandra Doorley. I'd have to go to the Department of Housing in Rochester to get a HUD-VASH voucher for veterans here because I'm a pathetic welfare case being locked out. HUD-VASH vouchers for veterans. So tell me what the answer is here. You're refusing to answer every single time. April 27th, May 18th. April 27th and May 18th, I'm telling you to disclose the names of my prosecutors. You're refusing every single time to comply with the law. Tell me the names of my prosecutors right here. Right here on this date, May 18th. Freedom of information law. You refused every single time to disclose that information to me because you're corrupt. That's why. You will never know you're corrupt at the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office, because here's the foil on this June 2nd that I just read, and you're going to refuse to comply with every single one because you, Todd Baxter, and you, Sandra Doorley, are corrupt. That's why. Look at my face, you disgusting, sickening hacks. Tell me the names of my prosecutors. Do you understand me? I have prosecutors of silence, and you better goddamn well tell me their names. You refuse every single time to do it because you're corrupt. So, right here is the registered mail return receipt here. This is from your name on it, Perry Douglas is going to come to the district attorney's office. You're going to sign forth the Freedom of Information Law. You're going to look right at this, and you're going to refuse to disclose the names of my prosecutors. You understand me? Right here, this is you, Mark Monahan, right here. This is why Rochester's the city of freaks, because I don't know what that is right out there as I'm trying to talk to you on YouTube. Mark Monahan, right here. Tell me the names of my prosecutors. Captain Scott Alberti being violently attacked by Richard J. Sieben. It's going to come to you. It's not going to matter. Deputy Doc Durston, I'm going to tell you. It's not going to matter that Richard J. Sieben violently attacked me. Paul C. Metzer, it's going to come to you. I'm going to tell the Department of Health that you have my health care records. You understand me? You disgusting, sickening hack. Thomas J. Doorley, the sheriff of Livingston County. I'm going to ask him what I'm doing in Livingston County. He's going to refuse to answer. I'm going to contact Attorney General Merrick Garland, find out what he thinks about what's happened to me, where I've been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutor hasn't talked in court. And I'm going to contact Governor Kathy Hochul with all this information here and demanding of you. You're going to refuse to comply every single time and disclose information. To me, this is my letter to you 3 years ago, Todd Baxter, Sheriff of Monroe County. On June 7th, on my PW fitness, I'm at the back of the gym performing 3 sets of 10 repetitions on the bench press. I paused for 30 seconds between each repetition. I completed the second repetition. Jermaine Benman walked up to me. I'm sitting up. He stared at me for approximately 10 seconds. He said nothing. He motioned with his right hand from left to right. I understood the lack of communication from his characters. Get off the machine or else. I told Benman I'll be 30 seconds. I approached Benman. Benman placed his finger on my face below my left eye. I pressed his fingernail into my skin. I slapped his hand away from my right hand. My action is the justifiable action a citizen takes when a thug attempts intimidation. Benman raised his right hand above his head, clenched his fist, and slammed his head and hand into the side of my face. My head snapped back. My glasses flew off my right hand, prevented me from landing on the floor. Benman walked away with his violent assault after witnesses. This is how I'm charged with harassment second, sitting in the backseat of Andrew Reality's Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle. So I'm going to read this again for you. This is how I'm charged with harassment second after this happened to me. My action is justifiable action a thug takes when a thug attempts intimidation, when a thug invades your personal space. Benman raised his right hand above his head, clenched his fist, slammed his hand inside of my face. My head snapped back, my glasses flew off. My right hand prevented me from landing on the floor. My glasses fly off, and then I'm sitting in the backseat of Andrew Reality's Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle, and I'm charged with harassment second. I'm in Monroe County Jail for that. Jermaine L. Benman, who just violently attacked me, appears before James Mellon Jr. in Penfield Court because there's a deal with Jessica Wagner, the district attorney's office, and James Mellon Jr. to let this violent thug walk right out the door. How's that explained, Sandra Doorley? You believe in violence, you're an embrace of violence at the district attorney's office with your employee, Jessica Wagner, allowing this violent thug, Jermaine L. Benman, to walk right out the door to freedom. See the shirt I'm wearing? I don't have any clothes because Auntie and Ospano locking the door and locking me out. I have to go to the Goodwill to buy clothes because of you, Todd Baxter, and you, Sandra Doorley. So I'm not going to hold up everyone, but I'm going to go to the post office, this YouTube. I'm going to print this out. I'm going to include other documentation that I've been holding up here. You're going to get the same documentation as registered mail return receipt, and you're going to refuse to comply every single time and disclose the names of my prosecutor's silence to me. This is May 24th, over a week ago. It says right here, here's all your names up here. This is corruption. When you blow this off, same thing with Julie Sianka. You, Perry Douglas, Julie Sianka, Mark Phillips, Gina Harper, could all tell me the names of my prosecutors. May 24th, comply with 17 Freedom of Information Law documents, action PDF dated May 24, 2023. Read the 4 attached PDF attachments. Mail the names of my prosecutor's silence. The address listed below in Rochester, New York. I have prosecutor's silence for Penfield Town Court Judge John P. Lenzo Jr., Penfield Town Court Judge Paul C. Metzer, New York State Supreme Court Judge Alex Renzi. And then I'm talking to you again here on YouTube. Deviants, Todd Baxter, Sandra Doorley, Alex Renzi. Abyss, Todd Baxter, Sandra Doorley, Alex Renzi. Stupefied public defender Julie Sianka. Stupefied is the perfect word for you. One of the names of my prosecutor is Julie Sianka, and that's why you're stupefied. I've been on YouTube now more than 100 times. And it does not matter to you at all that I'm telling you that you're freaks and that you're psychopaths and being prosecuted in total silence. When I contact Speaker Carl Heastie and Senate Majority Leader Andrew Stewart Cousins, I send him this documentation from me. I'll be interested in what their response is because I have faith in no public officials. I believe they're all corrupt. Prosecuted in total silence. I worked in that building in the New York State Capitol for 8 years. And all the legislation, I used to sit by the squawk box when I worked for the majority. For 4 years, I was next to the squawk box. And I would hear the legislation being introduced of the floor of the Senate. And I don't remember anything having to do with a bench trial or criminal justice. And this is a long time ago, and my memory has faded since then. But if someone would have asked me, can you go to jail because of one judge, I would say, no, that's absurd. That's ridiculous. And absurd and ridiculous. It's destroyed my life. And you're refusing to disclose the names of these hacks and sociopaths and destroyed my life. So How is any citizen in jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court? It doesn't matter to you, Perry Douglas. It doesn't matter to you, Mark Monahan. I would hope that the state legislature would reform this law. Any corrupt judge, any hack, any sociopath from Montauk Point on the easternmost part of Long Island, all the way to Buffalo, everywhere in between, can send citizens to jail. Doesn't that bother you as officers of court? Don't you know immediately, implicitly, that this is a prescription for corruption? You should, and you don't. It just does not matter to you that my civil and constitutional rights have been violated. I'm going to be on here talking about Miranda versus Arizona, the 1966 United States Supreme Court decision where the fanatical cops smashed the life of Ernesto Miranda into many little pieces. How come I've never heard Miranda, Todd Baxter? I do not know if this is just now a joke and the cops don't read Miranda. Because I watched these shows like Called Cops, I believe it was on Fox, and I'm not seeing anybody read their Miranda. The cops show up with the handcuffs on you and take you to jail. How come I've never heard Miranda? I'll find out if there's somehow been a Supreme Court decision that negates Miranda. But you know what the district attorney's office. How come I've never heard Miranda, Todd Baxter? And I know what my rights are. I know I have the right to remain silent. And you're going to remain silent, Todd Baxter, in the face of me demanding information from you because you're corrupt. You'll never know. You're corrupt. It just does not occur to you. To this day, Elliot Spitzer, when he resigned in disgrace, and I was in Albany that day on March 13, 2008, 15 years ago, does not know he's corrupt. So, what would you think, Todd Baxter? You own a dog? Would you and your wife marry? Do you and your wife marry have a dog? What would you think if the local idiot cops just showed up and you were walking your dog the same way for 7 years and 4,000 times, and here are the idiot cops demanding your dog? Do you think that's lunatic fringe? You're the lunatic fringe. And this is the other thing. When your cops are banging on my door, and one of your fanatics is outside screaming, Paul C. Metzler wants to send me to jail. One person by herself. I'm on YouTube just like I am now. Your fanatic showed up, Todd Baxter. There were at least 10. My neighbor said there were at least 10 of them. They're pounding on my door. I'm on YouTube when this is happening. And one of your psychopaths, Todd Baxter, is in my backyard. And he is screaming my name over and over and over. You know why he acts like a psychopath like that, Todd Baxter? Screaming my full name, Christopher Chichester, from my backyard. He knows he's not going to be identified. He knows there's no accountability for him. He knows he can act in the most disgusting, sick, vile, nauseating way, screaming my name in my backyard, and there's going to be no consequences for him. Just like your psychopaths pounding on my door. They don't know who's inside. I'm on the laptop. I can't be seen by the window. There could be 2, 3, 4 people in there. Sometimes there is. And they're just psychopaths pounding on my door, screaming my name outside because you do whatever the fuck you want in Monroe County, Todd Baxter. You and your fellow psychopaths screaming my name in my backyard and pounding on my door because $28,000 bald-head widow with one person in Pembroke Town Court wants to send me to jail. And you did that to me, Paul C. Metzer. I contact the Office of Court Administration. I'll send you this transcript about what this Paul C. Metzer has done to me. Paul C. Metzer, sitting alone in Pembroke Town Court, is evil. And you're perfectly comfortable, Perry Douglas and Mark Monahan, with evil being in that little room. It does not matter to you at all that she's sick, that she's ill, that she's a disgrace. She knows in that courtroom that she has the power to decide innocence and guilt. And it's guilt every single time. Isn't that right, Paul C. Metzer? It's going to be guilt every single time, Paul C. Metzer, because that's what's going to be on here. It takes thought and morality to quit someone, you bald-headed widow, Paul C. Metzer and James Femali Jr. You don't have that. That's why everybody's going to be guilty. How's that explained? I'll contact every member of the Monroe County Legislature about that. Todd Baxter, it's just not going to matter at all to you ever. So, this is on TikTok here. This is violence at Monroe County Jail. This is Richard J. Seaman. I print this out. This is in your office. I have to do this transcript by myself, listening to myself, and I'm writing it down. It's time consuming. So this is what I said to you on TikTok. I'm going to read it here now. Violence at Monroe County Jail. This here is about Richard J. Seaman and violence at Monroe County Jail. No, this is violence at Monroe County Jail. This is not Richard J. Seaman. I've talked about him on TikTok too. What's the state of violence at Monroe County Jail, Todd Baxter? Violence at Monroe County Jail. Sheriff Todd Baxter, when I was inmate in Monroe County Jail as an innocent man while prosecuted talk, I received my lunch tray one day in 10 feet in front of me. One man attacked another man. This became a fight, a real fight. when either inmate was injured, but it was a vicious confrontation. It was right in front of me, and then I was an inmate in Livingston County Jail. And this, so man, I'm in Livingston County Jail because I can't be at Monroe County Jail because I was told I was a security risk given what I did to you on YouTube. I was walking to go speak to a public defender, but before I could open the door, one inmate ran up beyond another inmate, knocked him to the ground, and then began to punch him on top of his head repeatedly. He hit him on top of his head with a closed fist about 10 plus times. I just stood there watching this, and then about 15 Livingston County Sheriff Officer employees came running through the door. I was just about to exit, and they immediately broke up this violent attack I watched. So 48 hours later, I was told to go to a room and meet with an investigator because the camera saw me as the witness to this violent attack. The first thing he said to me is, "I'm here to talk about the fight," end quote. I said to him, quote, "I'm not cooperating with anything that's a fight because I didn't watch a fight. I watched a violent attack on an innocent man." As I sat with him for 90 minutes, he was a total professional, asking me about the violence I witnessed. A violent attack, and he wrote down my language describing it. I read the statement. That's about 1,000 words. A signed statement as a witness to this violent crime. I didn't hear anything about this attack in Livingston County Jail that I witnessed. So I witnessed an attack in Monroe County Jail. I witnessed an attack in Livingston County Jail. I witnessed attacks at other places because of you, Sheriff Todd Baxter. What is going on at Monroe County Jail with violence? I'm not asking you if violence happens. I know violence happens in Monroe County Jail. Inmates attacking inmates, jail employees attacking inmates. That happened to me too, and I explain that on YouTube. Do you have a daily report 7 days a week about violence? If there's no violence, you need to be told there was no violence in Monroe County Jail. If an inmate attacks another inmate, do you report to the district attorney's office? I only have 20 seconds to go, you party switching stooge and degenerate. What are you going to do to refuse to answer? Because you're not accountable to anyone. There was violence in Monroe County Jail because I've seen it. I'm going to contact with 1,000 words. I'm going to be on the Zapper about violence in Monroe County Jail and how you, Todd Baxter, can't control violence in Monroe County Jail. This is in your office. You have this. Registered mail return receipt. And I just read it again. What's the state of violence in Monroe County Jail, Todd Baxter? What was I doing at Livingston County Jail? How do you allow this revolting hacking widow, Paul Menace, to send anybody out of Monroe County? How does I answer? I believe when I contact Sheriff Thomas Doorley in Livingston County, he's going to refuse to answer as well. Corruption remains silent when the truth is presented. I'm the truth. It doesn't matter. Anything that I've said on you, I'll never know who watches me. But I will print this transcript out. I'm getting transcripts every single time I've been on YouTube. I understand if I'm not watched. I understand if I'm blown up. But this arrives in your office. You can see that I'm talking to you. And this is going to be Menace because you're a menace to society, Todd Baxter. So your employees. This is Menace because you're a menace to society, Sandra Doorley. I can't even find out the names of my prosecutors to silence, either from the district attorney's office or from the public defender. That is sick. That is disgusting. That's corruption every single time. How's that explained to Sabrina Lamar, public defender Julie Siaka? You don't think you have to explain anything. You could tell me right now, Mark Phillips and Regina Harper, Christopher.chichester.mail.com, send it to me. If you're watching me, and given what I just said, where you know the names of my prosecutors, I just told you one of my email addresses, Christopher.chichester@mail.com, and you refuse, and that's corruption, Mark Phillips, and that's corruption, Regina Harper. You do not know you're corrupt. And I reluctantly came to that conclusion. Because when you're sending my mail back to me, just like Jansen McNair, this is Julie Siaka sending my mail back to me. Well, I'm paying to reach her. I'm not asking you for the internal operations of something totally disconnected from my life. I'm telling you, public defender Julie Siaka, to tell me the names of my prosecutors that you have in your office, and you're refusing every time. This hack too. Patrick has hired Jansen McNair, double dipper Jansen McNair. Did you call County Executive Adam Bello, you bald-headed Benito Mussolini clone Todd Baxter, and get Jansen McNair this job where he's a double dipper just like you? You know what is going to happen when I contact Adam Bello about him? Adam Bello is going to be silent. I'd like to know what the Monroe County Legislature thinks about Jansen McNair, the Office of Public Integrity. What's he do? I believe he does nothing. I believe this could be a no-show job, and I'm going to ask and demand of Thomas P. DiNapoli that he investigate Jansen McNair. Does he go into the office at 40 Times Square Building, 45 Exchange Boulevard, Suite 900, Rochester, New York? Is Suite 900 empty every day because Jansen McNair, Director of Public Integrity, is not in there? Double dipper Jansen McNair. This is corruption, what I'm talking about here. Corruption. I don't have any clothes because of you, Todd Baxter and Sandra. When I'm in the Goodwill and I'm picking out clothes for me, all my running outfits are gone. I used to run a race and hang my singlet up on a chandelier in my residence in Penfield. I had about 10 of them. That's all gone. When I'm buying clothes, my running clothes at the Goodwill in Rochester, New York, I'm thinking about you hacks and sociopaths at that district attorney's and sheriff's office the whole time. You understand me? What's justice about in the United States of America? Hacks and sociopaths, district attorneys, and sheriff's office. It's about money. If I had money, I'd be able to fan you off. I wouldn't have to rely on the incompetence of the public defender's office where I've never been defended. I would have had the resources to keep you at bay. I would have never spent one fucking day in jail if I had money. That's the way the United States of America is. That's just the way it is. And the way it is a disgrace. District Attorney Sandra disclosed the names of unprosecuted sons. You refuse because you're corrupt. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been an innocent man my whole life.